What's up everybody, 40 here and welcome to my kitchen. I know it's been a long time since I've done a cooking video for you guys, but you know what? Today is Valentine's Day and I wanted to cook up a very special dinner for myself, my wife, and my son. And happy Valentine's Day to those of you that celebrate. Please enjoy this time with your loved ones. Whether or not you have a significant other or not, it's all about love, loving your friends, loving your family, and just having a good time, whether it be dinner, a movie, or however you guys spend Valentine's Day. But we're gonna be cooking up a fantastic dinner today. I'm gonna be cooking up a steak. I'm gonna be doing a pasta carbonara, which is gonna be my first time doing pasta carbonara. And then for vegetables, I went with something a little bit more simple. We're just gonna be doing some oven roasted bell peppers. We're gonna go ahead and take you guys through a tour of what I'm gonna be cooking here. First off, we have our steaks. Now, these are no ordinary steaks. These are Wagyu Australian picanhas, and these are marbling score 9. So this is the highest marbling score that you can get for Wagyu picanha. And as you guys know, I've done a video before on Wagyu picanha, courtesy of Angry Cow Master Cuts. This is who I got this meat from. So if you guys are interested in getting some of that shipped out to you, he also does Japanese Wagyu, which is even better than Australian Wagyu. I'll be leaving his social links down in the video description as well as the pinned comments. So we're gonna be cooking that up. I'm gonna be using some simple salt and pepper, olive oil, some butter, and some aromatics. When it comes to Wagyu picanha, you don't wanna go super crazy with your spices and things like that. You just wanna keep it simple because there's already so much flavor in the marbling and the fat from this piece of meat. Now we're gonna go over here. This is going to be the pasta carbonara. Now, I was inspired to do this because I watched a really funny video of this Italian chef just kind of reacting to Gordon Ramsay's version of this dish, and I guess Gordon Ramsay didn't do a good job, and you guys know how much I love Gordon Ramsay. So I'm gonna try to do my best to keep this to closest to the original as possible. Now, normally they use guanciale, which is the pig cheek that is cured. I could not find guanciale, so to those of you who are my Italian audience watching this, please forgive me. I'm going with pancetta, which is the substitute for this, because I just couldn't find guanciale. But something that I do want to let you guys know, don't use bacon. Okay, you don't use bacon for pasta carbonara if you want to keep it true to the traditional one. Now for the cream, I'm gonna go with this cheese, which is Pecorino Romano. You can go with Parmesan, but Pecorino Romano comes from sheep, whereas Parmesan comes from cows, and this one has a stronger flavor, and to my understanding, it works better with the cream. For the pasta, I'm gonna go with spaghetti. Now the spaghetti that I have is a little bit coarse, and the reason why I want it coarse is because we want that sauce or the cream to be able to stick to the pasta as much as possible. And then afterwards, I am gonna be using 4 eggs here, which I'm gonna be combining with the cheese, and that is how we're gonna make our cream. And then afterwards, like I said earlier, we are gonna be doing some oven roasted bell peppers. So that'll be our vegetable for this course of Valentine's Day, our Valentine's Day dinner. So we're gonna go ahead and start cooking. So stay tuned for that, guys. I'll see you over in the pans and pots and all that good stuff. So stay tuned. All right, guys, we are back and we're gonna go ahead and start off with our steaks. The reason why is because after these cook, I'm gonna let them rest to reabsorb their juices. And during that time, I'm gonna be cooking the pasta carbonara. So I have my skillet right over here. It is smoking hot because what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be searing these picanhas. And then afterwards, once they're fully seared, I'm going to turn the heat down. We're gonna add some butter, we're gonna add some rosemary and some garlic, and then we will baste until we get the right kind of what do you call it, like the rare, medium rare, because I like to eat my picanhas rare, medium rare, especially when it's Wagyu. You don't want to overcook it. We're just gonna go ahead and get started and get these bad boys onto the pans. So as you can see, you're gonna hear that nice aggressive sear. Okay. Now with picanha, you want to make sure both sides are well seared. You also want to make sure that the fat cap is also well rendered. Okay. And what I like to do is I like to turn them as frequently as possible to get them cooked evenly, okay? Now normally with picanha, I know in Brazil they like to cook it, you know, on that little stick, and they usually grill it, but right now it's cold and it might rain where we're at, so that's why we're gonna do it pan seared. Now I've done this pan seared before and it came out delicious, so. And if you guys have never had picanha, it's totally worth it. Okay, the thing that I like about picanha is that it has a great mix tenderness, beefy flavor, and also like its firmness, okay? Like ribeye is very, very good. I like ribeye, but the thing about ribeye is sometimes it can be a little too fatty, whereas picanha, it just has that right consistency. And when it comes to Wagyu picanha, it's even better, okay? All right, so we're gonna keep flipping these bad boys because I really wanna make sure that I get a nice sear. And I wanna make sure that, you know, I get a nice cook in the inside of the meat too. Go ahead and start rendering that fat. And because I had the skillet on a really, really high heat, these should sear pretty quickly. Okay. And if you guys are having trouble finding, like let's say you just want to buy like regular picanha and you guys, you know, can't find it in the supermarket, ask for top sirloin rump cap. Okay, top sirloin rump cap is what you want to ask for. And generally you can tell it is picanha or top sirloin rump cap because it has that really big fat cap on top of it. Okay, so I'm getting that nice sear. Okay. Let's render that fat. Go. And as you can see, they are looking gorgeous. That marbling is really, really pronounced. Again, these are Australian Wagyu picanhas. Marbling score 9, which is the highest marbling score that these can get. And the more marbled the meat is, the more fat content, the more flavor, the more tender the meat is. I'm going to sear these just a little bit longer because I want to make sure that the middle part is nice. It has that nice pink color, but not overly pink, but not, you know, overly cooked. You know what I mean? So that nice medium rare to medium doneness. Flip the fat cap over again. These are looking nice and seared. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to turn the dial to about 4. Okay, we're going to turn the heat down. We're going to start throwing some aromatics. Okay, so we're going to start off with our garlic. Get the garlic in there. Get the rosemary. And if you guys hear my blower, it's because I don't want my house to smell like steak. I mean, steak smells great, but I don't want that aroma to overtake my house. So, and then afterwards, we're gonna add some butter. This is what we're gonna be using to baste. I'm gonna let this melt. I know it looks like a lot of butter, but trust me guys, when it comes to basting, you want to use a generous amount. And while that butter is melting, I'm gonna continue flipping, okay? As you can see, we're getting that nice, they call it like a Maillard effect, right? That little crust, okay? And this is generally an effect that you'll get with your steaks if you pan sear them like this. You can also do this too, okay? Take that butter, rub it on the steak, okay? Do you guys hear my son? He is here in the kitchen with us. Little Edgeworth, hello. You're in Daddy's video. Okay, so now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is turn the dial down one more notch. Gonna grab my trusty little oven mitt here so I don't get burned. Gonna grab a spoon and we're gonna do something called basting. So basting pretty much is I'm going to tilt the pan this way and I'm just going to baste the meat, okay? What we're doing is we're infusing that delicious flavor of the butter, the garlic, the rosemary into the meat, okay? We are infusing it. Okay, and when these steaks are done, after they've rested and they've reabsorbed those juices, oh, they're gonna be so good. Especially when it comes to Wagyu picanha. Okay. Let's go ahead and flip them one more time. As you can see, the heat has died down, so it's not sizzling as much anymore. Edgeworth, you're in Daddy's video. Edgeworth, say hi to the audience. Good job. Sorry guys, my son, he's almost 2. He wants to be involved in everything that we do. All right, so these are turning out to look very gorgeous. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do now, guys, is I'm gonna turn this off. And we're gonna go ahead and grab another cutting board here because I'm gonna let these rest. So I'm gonna grab the cutting board right here. I'm gonna put the steaks here. Oh. Okay. There you go. Nice and beautiful Wagyu picanhas. Okay, so we're gonna let those rest, and while they're resting, we're gonna go ahead and cook our pasta carbonara, which is the second part of this Valentine's Day dinner, so stay tuned for that. We are back, guys, so I'm allowing the steaks to rest, so then that way they can reabsorb their juices, and besides, whenever you guys cook steak, you should let them rest after you cook them. So the next thing that we're gonna do is cook our pancetta. So again, I'm gonna be using this. We're gonna go ahead and turn on the stove to 5, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and dump the pancetta there. Again, for pasta carbonara, normally they use guanciale. I couldn't find it, and the substitute for that is pancetta. Now, the reason why I am cooking this at like a medium-ish heat is because I don't want to stress the meat. When you stress the meat, you don't get the right consistency. And from what I understand with pasta carbonara, you want some texture with the meat. So what I'm trying to do here with these cubed portions of pancetta is I want them to cook slowly, so then that way they'll be nice and tender with a little bit of crispiness, right? And what's also gonna happen here is as I cook them slowly, it's gonna start to create some fat, and that fat is going to be used for the pasta itself, because after we start cooking the pasta and it's cooked, we're gonna put the pasta in, and it's gonna create a very nice flavor for the pasta, which will then combine with the cream, and it's just gonna be absolutely fantastic. So we're gonna go ahead and just cook this slowly here. And as you can see right here, you can kind of already see the oil starting to develop from that fat just cooking gently. Now right now over here, we have some water cooking. As soon as that starts boiling, I am gonna throw my spaghetti in there, and we're gonna cook our spaghetti. So this is pretty much it, guys. Just let it cook slowly. It just takes a lot of patience. Once you start hearing the sizzle, you know you're kind of already you're almost quite there, you know, to start going to the next phase of cooking this wonderful pasta dish. But that's all there is to it, guys. So the next portion for this video is we're gonna be doing the cream, so stay tuned for that. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and make the cream for the pasta carbonara. But before we do that, our oven is preheated to 350. We're gonna go ahead and put our bell peppers in. I'm gonna set the timer for about 15 minutes, okay? Let those bad boys roast in the oven for about 15 minutes. Again, very simple. I just use olive oil on top, salt and pepper. They're gonna taste amazing. All right, so the pasta carbonara cream. So we use 4 egg yolks, and we also use some pecorino romano, which is what they use traditionally for this dish. Again, you can use Parmesan, but the strong flavor, because this cheese comes from the sheep, is going to complement the dish very, very well. So again, to my Italian audience watching, hopefully I'm doing this right. So I'm gonna add just a little bit at a time and mix this in. Don't judge me too harshly now. This is my first time doing this, but you know, I really wanted to try it. I really wanted to do like, you know, a special pasta dish for this Valentine's Day dinner. I put a little bit more. And I can really smell that strong cheese aroma coming from this pecorino. So I can see why they use this for the cream. And if you guys can hear it, the pancetta is sizzling in the pan. Okay, we're gonna add a little bit more here. Oh, got a little bit mishap there, but you know what, guys, it happens in the kitchen. I'm not a professional chef. So we got some pecorino just laying there, guys. Forgive me. All right. So you got a nice cream there. Hey, look at that, it's very thick, which is going to be very exciting once we put this into the pasta carbonara. All right, so what we're gonna go ahead and do now is the water is starting to boil. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my spaghetti. Again, the spaghetti that I'm using is coarse, so then that way the cream sticks to the pasta, okay? So we're just gonna go ahead and dunk it in there, and as you dunk it in there, it's going to start to melt, okay? And as you can see, the water is starting to get cloudy. So it's starting to form that pasta water, which is gonna be key to this dish. And we're gonna go ahead and just slowly twist it around. Okay, twist your pasta around. You don't wanna break the pasta. You just wanna twist it until it's fully submerged, okay? It's gonna slowly start to melt, which is gonna make it a little bit easier for the pasta to come in to the water. Hello, Edgeworth. Yes, our son wants to be a part of the video. Yes, Edgeworth, you can watch, just be careful. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and let that cook and stay tuned for the next portion where we're gonna be adding the cream to the pasta carbonara. We're gonna be adding the pasta and everything is just gonna come together, so stay tuned for that. All right guys, we are back. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is I'm gonna add my pasta to the pancetta. As you can see, there's a lot of oil that came out of the fat for the pancetta, which is going to help flavor the pasta. So the first thing that I'm gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and turn off the pasta. It's nice and cooked. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and add it to our pancetta, and I'm gonna just roll it around as I add it. Then that way we can get that nice fat from the pancetta onto the pasta. Roll that around there. Get a little bit more here. Got a little bit of pasta water dripping, but that's okay. The pasta water is actually going to be key. You're going to see something that I'm going to do here that most Italian chefs do with their pasta. And this is something that you guys should consider doing whenever you make any kind of pasta. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm actually going to take some of that pasta water and add it to the pasta. And the reason why is because when we add the cream, the starch from the pasta water and the gluten is gonna help make it creamier, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and mix that around here. Give that a nice mix around, okay? Okay, now this is a very crucial part to carbonara. So remember how the cream is made out of raw eggs and cheese, okay? So we're gonna turn the heat off, okay? I'm gonna take my pot, I'm gonna move it off of the stove. And this is where we're gonna start to add the cream. And the reason why I'm taking it off the stove is because if there's too much heat, guess what you're gonna make? Scrambled eggs. We're not making scrambled eggs, guys, we're making pasta carbonara. So now we're gonna go ahead and mix that around quickly. Mix that around. Make sure we're not making scrambled eggs, we're making pasta carbonara, okay? I may have added a little too much pasta water, but that's okay because we're gonna help it get that creamy consistency. After it's nice and mixed in, we are going to go ahead and put this right back onto the stove. Okay, turn it on a very low heat and just continue mixing, okay? As you can see, it's nice and it's getting to that creamy texture. Go. And we're making sure that we're not making scrambled eggs, which is why I took this off of the pan. Okay. Again, my first time making this pasta, I was very excited to make it. So to my Italian audience watching, hopefully I did okay. Okay, but I'm pretty sure this is gonna taste good. Like, it's already smelling good. Like, I could really smell the flavors really coming out from the pancetta and the cream and the pecorino cheese. So I cannot wait to dig in. So the next thing we're gonna do is plate, so stay tuned for that. All right guys, let's go ahead and plate this up and see how this looks. All right, so we're gonna start off with the pasta carbonara. Get a little bit of that here. Yes, son, yes. Again, if you hear my son, he is here in the kitchen. He wants to be a part of the video. You know how it is with a 2-year-old. All right, we're gonna get a little bit of the peppers here. few here. Okay. And then afterwards, we have our Australian Wagyu picanha. Nice, rare to medium rare, which is how you should be eating picanha. And there it is, guys. This is going to be the Valentine's Day dinner that my wife and I and my son are going to be enjoying. So happy Valentine's Day. Thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, whether it be a gaming video, cooking video, singing video, and mahal everyone. Take care.